Hi, today I have another interesting guest I want you to listen to because she has a phenomenal story. I get a lot of requests for guests, and I turn probably 75% of them down because there's a certain person or certain type of people that I would like to have on my show, that people that have really interesting lives or stories, or that are survivors, or that is offering something positive in the world. Or they're telling something interesting, or they're an interesting person, whether they're a psychic or they're doing trans past life regression, or they're working with people that are in the LGBTQ plus community, helping with mental health. I like people that have a connection to me. And everyone that's been on my podcast so far, I have picked because I find them interesting, and I hope you have found them interesting too. And my guest that I have today's name is Patricia, and she's written 3 books. And I'll tell you why I think she's so interesting. She and her wife, she was from the United States, and her wife was from the UK. And they were together, but back in the early 2000s, they couldn't come together and live together and immigrate to either country as same-sex couples. It wasn't available then. So imagine you have to make a decision like, okay, well, I love this person, but I can't live in their country and they can't live in my country. So what do we do? So they ended up going to Canada. And, the world's a little different now where they're married and they could live in the UK because same-sex marriage is legal in the UK and it's legal in the United States as of now. But she has such a heartwarming story. I loved interviewing her. She was such a nice lady on top of that. And I hope you enjoy her story. She's got 3 books out. I will put the 3 books in the description of this video or podcast. But I really hope you enjoy your story as much as I enjoyed interviewing her. So thanks so much for listening. Hi, thanks for joining me on the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. Today I have Patricia Grayhall, who is an MD and an author, and I'm really excited to have her on our show today to talk about some of her real life experiences and her books that she's written. She has 3 books that are currently out. The first one was called Making the Rounds. Her second one was called Golden Years, Silver Linings. And her latest book that just came out this month is called A Place for Us. So welcome to the show, Patricia.
Thank you.
So I was so intrigued whenever I seen information about you because you are a female doctor that has gone through some challenges of trying to find a place for you and your partner to actually live because of immigration issues. Is that correct?
Yes, and my latest book was inspired by our real life experience trying to find a country in which we could live together legally in 2003. Neither of us could live together in our home countries at that time because the countries didn't recognize us as a couple for immigration.
Wow.
And but we could potentially live in Canada together legally because in 2002, Canada changed their law to recognize same-sex couples for immigration. However, you had to prove that you had lived together as conjugal partners for at least a year.
Okay.
We couldn't do that in our home countries, so it was a catch-22.
And where is your partner from?
From the UK.
And I mean, were you surprised whenever you started looking into this? I feel like the UK is was more accepting of gay people being together and gay marriage and stuff more than the US was. And so were you surprised?
Well, yes, but still, despite that, the immigration laws hadn't changed to recognize same-sex couples.
Yeah.
For immigration. And most of the book, lots of the book, is based on that real-life experience, although it is fiction, and lots of other parts of the book are completely fictional.
Yeah. How did you go from being an MD to being an author? How did that switch happen?
Well, it happened in 2019. I was downsizing with my partner, and we were going through boxes and boxes. I found these old journals I hadn't looked at in 40 years. And I was about to toss them into the burn barrel when I realized I should at least look through them.
Yeah.
And when I did, I thought, wow, a lot of this is part of our history as women and queer people. And I thought, it should see the light of day. So I took courses in memoir writing and in the craft of just writing in general, and took a 6-month memoir writing course and had a mentor during that time who happened to also be a publisher.
Yeah.
And invited me to publish the book, Making the Rounds, which really, it covers the period of my 20s. And it's, I should say that writing a memoir is like walking naked into the world.
Yeah.
But
did you hold back with anything, or did you kind of let it all out there?
No, I really, because it was covered a period during my 20s and my medical trainings, it was almost like writing about someone else, because it was 50 years ago. So it allowed me to be brutally honest. And I think when you tell the truth, that's how you relate to readers.
Yeah.
Because they can tell if you're not. So, and that book got a lot of awards. It got starred Kirkus Review and their best 100 indie books of 2022. But really what warmed my heart was the feedback that I got from readers who said that they saw themselves to some extent in my story, and they felt validated and less alone. Also, I got feedback that said, okay, so what's next? Where's the sequel? And I really didn't think I had another memoir in me. It's a pretty wrenching experience to write. But the thing is, when you're as old as I am, you've had lots of experiences. I've made many mistakes. I've learned from the mistakes, and I have a treasure trove of stories. And this one about our immigration experience was one of them. And so that's when I discovered autofiction. Most writers draw from their own experience in writing novels, and A Place for Us is no exception. But I also wanted to go beyond my own experience to explore some of the messy issues that affect queer people.
Yeah.
Not, that straight people don't have a lock on abusive relationships. And I wanted to explore that to some extent because it's really a complicated issue because there's love and there's some good times and also hope that the partner will change.
Yeah.
That sometimes traps normal, intelligent people into losing their agency to act in their own self-interest. So that was one of the issues I wanted to explore in the new book. So A Place for Us definitely blurs the boundary between fact and fiction to explore larger social and political issues.
Did you ever think that we would have this many rights 50 years ago?
Oh, never. I mean, I just never thought in my lifetime that I would be able to legally marry my partner.
Yeah.
And like the book, A Place for Us, we've had a happy ending. We did end up immigrating to Canada and living together, and we've been together 22 years. So,
wow.
And legally married in Canada. I just didn't think it was ever possible.
And how did you meet?
Well, we first met in a London pub in 1981. And that's where actually the book begins. The meeting part was quite closely followed our actual experience. And then, because of, and I should back up to say the characters in the book are not me and not my partner. They're, they're temperamentally a bit different. I would say to apply a verb to each of them, like Jo is an environmental attorney and her verb is to protect.
Okay.
And Lauren is a spirited, adventure-seeking British woman whose verb is to risk.
Okay.
So, yeah, the first part of the book follows our meeting pretty closely.
Yeah. And then as you were writing this book, were you writing this by your partner? What is her name, by the way, just so I don't keep calling her your...
Linda.
Linda. Were you writing this by Linda as you were writing this, or did she just read it at the end? And was there any parts where she's like, nope, don't include that? Or was she open to it all?
As I said, I didn't really want to write another memoir for privacy reasons. The closer you get to current times, the more privacy becomes a concern.
Yeah.
So, yes, I did run it by her, and there were parts that she wanted excluded. But, it is, again, it is fiction and blurs the lines enough that she was comfortable.
Okay, that's great. Are you happy in Canada now? And would you ever want to come back to the United States, or would you ever want to go to the UK?
Well, I don't want to go to the UK. I have loved my experience visiting there.
Yeah.
But it's not my home.
Yeah.
And Canada is a bit closer to home. In fact, I do still split my time actually between the US and Canada. I've lived in Seattle since 1984, and I have many friends here, and I don't want to abandon them.
Yeah.
Especially in these dark times.
Yeah.
I do go back and forth between the two countries. Although I have to say I'm very happy in Canada. I love my community, and we have good friends. My partner is totally committed to living in Canada. So.
Yeah. What's the secret for being together for 22 years?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I guess it's compromise.
Yeah.
Picking your issues, go to the mat on.
Yeah. Me and my partner have been together for 26 years, and we have friends that ask that question to us, and I'm just like, you just gotta know when to give in sometimes. Like not everything you don't have to win everything. So
yeah, that's for sure.
And walk a little bit more through the book for our listeners, just to kind of, and without giving it away, so they'll read it. But you met in London, and does it kind of walk through this kind of fictional relationship?
So the two protagonists, Jo, the environmental attorney, she's ambitious, and Lauren, they meet in a pub in 1981, and they have an instant attraction. But their romance is cut short by Jo's ambition and immigration barriers, and it just isn't feasible in 1981. So they keep in touch by letter and an occasional phone call, but they don't see each other until Lauren's partner insists that they visit San Francisco, where Jo lives, and stay with her to save on hotel costs.
Okay.
And Jo has a partner at that time as well, but both of them are mired in unsatisfying, fairly unhappy relationships with their current partners. So once again, they find themselves yearning for each other.
Yeah.
But they have to really confront not only their, existing commitments, but also their issues of what allowed them to be in these relationships to begin with.
Yeah.
And things really come to a head in Yosemite National Park, which is a little bit of a character in the book.
Yeah.
Once they decide that they want to be together, they have to unravel their current lives. And the problem is, though, that, as I said before, there's no country in which they can live together legally, certainly not in the United States. and not in the UK, because they can't sponsor each other because their relationship is not recognized.
Yeah.
So that's the major challenge for the last third of the book. Many obstacles. It's a little bit like romantic suspense, really.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, it sounds, I actually just got the book sent to me 2 days ago, so it's going to be my weekend reading. I think it's so interesting during this time of where we are in the United States with all these, I don't want to get too political with things, but where we are in this country with the immigration issues that we're having. Also, I'm still not convinced that they're going to just stop at all these trans issues that they're bringing up. I feel like at some point they are going to go for same-sex marriage again, just like they did, for abortion rights and stuff. So I don't know. It's funny you live in Canada because we're in Boston, and that is kind of our escape plan if we ever need to get out. And
well, you should do it while you're young because, they have various programs for immigration, but the federal skilled workers one is probably one of the more common, and points are given for age and taken away for age over whatever it is now, maybe 35.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I just want to comment on the current situation in the U.S. So in my book, I actually have some resources in the back for people for same-sex couples who are thinking of immigrating to the U.S. I don't know that anybody, how many people want to do that at the moment, but and I expect that there'll probably be greater scrutiny despite, now than there has been. But I also want to say that, I've lived through dark times before. I'm old enough I was admitted to medical school before Title IX guaranteed equal access to education for women. Mm-hmm. And I also, also before Roe v. Wade. And I had to hide my sexuality lest I eventually lose my, I survived that by forming allies, people I could trust, and which is what we have to do now.
Yeah.
And so, and also, both books, I think, both making the rounds and A Place for Us, hopefully, offer hope to young people who are, I'm sure, totally shocked at what's happening now.
Yeah.
Because most of their lives, they've enjoyed certain rights and freedoms that we really didn't have in my youth. And, I just want them to know that that despite adversity, that queer people, have led incredible lives, we've thrived and have had many accomplishments despite little support from mainstream society. So we can do it again.
Yeah. And kids or adults are coming out much earlier now. Whenever I was in high school, I grew up in Miami area. There's no way anybody would have come out whenever I was going to high school as coming out as gay or bi or lesbian. Definitely not trans. There was not anything like that back then in my school. But now, I have cousins that have children, and they're junior high and high school. Their kids are coming out or identifying as, fluid and stuff. So it just, I think it's remarkable, and I really hope that continues to give people hope. Yeah. I hope the administration that we have now in the United States and just the state of the world, I hope that people don't start going back into the closet and feeling scared again. So,
well, I mean, certainly there's a lot. Well, things are still much better now than they were in my youth, and even yours. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more fluidity in gender expression and sexuality, and it's good that young people have the opportunity to explore.
Yeah.
And certainly, as I indicate in my book, Making the Rounds, when I was 15, trying to figure out what it meant, the word lesbian meant, I went to the library because I thought I might be one. And I looked it up, and what I read said that, homosexuality was a disease. We were going to be unable to form lasting relationships or hold down jobs. And it, it really sounded quite horrible. Like I didn't want to be one. Although, fortunately, for some reason, I didn't internalize it, and I went ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, before the world, like there wasn't, I'm really dating myself, but there was no internet when I was in high school. So there's no way to look these things up online or to connect with anybody else the way that people can connect today on, apps or meetup groups or whatever. So it was such a different time then. So
very different. And that's kind of reflected in my novel, A Place for Us, because, Joe and Lauren meet in 1981, before internet, before email, and communication was limited. And so.
Even living in San Francisco and the UK, the long distance bill alone would have probably been so much just to communicate that way. Because it was either that or a letter, right? I mean, there was.
Yeah, well, in reality, my partner and I wrote long letters to each other.
Did you save those?
Yes, I still have them.
Oh, that's amazing. That is so. I think this book. I think the book is amazing because it just gives these new generations that are looking for love, and I think it gives them hope. And
that's really the point. Actually, both my books, to give people hope. First of all, that they can survive dark times, and also that love conquers, all. And despite the obstacles, love prevails.
Yeah.
And A Place for Us, definitely, because it's a romance. It has an obligatory happy ending.
Yeah.
Which also was true in real life. So.
Are you just kind of a off the wall question? Are you still in touch with both your partners that you had whenever, or was that just part of the book?
It's just part of the book.
Okay. I was just wondering if you were.
Yeah.
And is Canada now completely? Do you feel much more safe in Canada than you do in the U.S. at this point?
I do, for many reasons. I mean, just the lack of gun culture, for one, but also, just the general civility.
Yeah.
People are much more polite, and there's, they have filters, whereas in the United States, there seems to be no filters.
Yeah.
But I don't. You're in Boston, I'm in Seattle when I'm in the U.S., and, it just, I don't really feel unsafe.
I'm in a bubble in Boston because it's so liberal here. It's a very LGBTQ friendly city. So, and Seattle's the same way. So, I guess going to the middle of the country is.
Yeah, I actually would hesitate to travel to, some of the states that have been so incredibly hostile to LGBTQ people.
Yeah. Yeah, I do another podcast about quick LGBTQ plus news, like 10 minutes or less, and they just did a kind of a ranking on states in the United States, which ones are from, the most friendly to the ones that are the least friendly, and like Arkansas is like the most unfriendly state for LGBTQ plus. So I'm like, I'll never go there, I guess. Not that I have any reason to anyway, but.
Yeah, you have to believe. One of my fellow She Writes authors and friend happens to live in Arkansas, and totally endorsed both my books. So it's just there's good people throughout the United States, but unfortunately, their voices are muted right now.
I should say, actually, my cousin lives in Arkansas with her husband and 3 children. So I guess there is a reason for me to go to Arkansas one day because of that. And she's very supportive of the LGBTQ people. So I guess I shouldn't throw Arkansas completely under the bus. What is your next plans for what do you want to do next in the future? Do you have another book in you, do you think, or is this or is
I've actually finished another book. It's a thriller, and this book also has Jo as the environmental attorney, but this time she's up against the environmental crimes of big oil with her friend, a physician who she believes was framed for bank robbery. It draws a little bit on my own life because I had a colleague who was arrested for bank robbery.
Oh, wow.
And I always wondered, really, did he really do that, or was he framed?
Okay.
So the title of my book, which is totally fictional, has nothing to do with him, but it's called Framed. It'll probably be out in January.
And are you in touch with him still, or is he still?
No, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And his is not my story to tell.
Yeah.
So, but it was kind of a little bit of the inspiration of this one, although this one doesn't track his experience at all. And besides, it's a woman.
Okay. And has becoming an author like really helped you express yourself better moving out of the medical field?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just feel like I have this whole new career,
Yeah.
even though I got started just as I was about to turn 70.
That's pretty amazing, though.
Yeah, but I'm now 75, and I just feel like I'm on a real roll.
Yeah, keep doing it. I mean, that's amazing. I love it when people later in life like find their skill or find something that they love doing. So,
I think I wrote poetry as a child, and I read a lot, and I just always admired authors and their ability to. I enjoy reading almost more than I do seeing films, just because it triggers my imagination in ways that I find more pleasurable.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I'm just happy to be able to learn the craft. I learn every day. I think each book that I write is better than the last one, and
Yeah.
so
That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad. I think this book is so inspiring for just people in the LGBTQ plus community, and just to kind of hear this story about this couple, kind of going through these challenges, because it's still happening today. And
Yeah.
I just, I love LGBTQ plus writers. So I'm so glad I got a chance to kind of talk to you about this.
great. And there's more and more of us because readers want to see themselves represented,
Yeah, exactly.
and I think it does build understanding and empathy.
Yeah. So if you would like to learn more about Patricia, you can go to her website. It is Patricia, and I will put this also in the description of the podcast and the YouTube video, but it's patriciagrayhall.com. You can also get all her books on Amazon, because I went on there this morning and actually ordered one of the other ones because I have a place for us already. And so be sure to go in there, leave a comment, and read her book, and leave a good review on Amazon, so that way people know to go out and get this book and read it. So let's support our LGBTQ plus authors, everybody. So
I should say that it is distributed by Simon & Schuster. So if your viewers don't like Amazon, it's everywhere else.
Okay, so not just and actually I did when I did a Google search, Simon & Schuster's like the third link. So go to simonschuster.com and just do a search for Patricia, and she'll come right up. So, and I'll put a link in the description for Simon & Schuster as well. So
Okay.
thank you so much for being on, Patricia. You're amazing. I really am so happy I got to talk to you, and everybody leave a comment and I'll send you the comments on what people say.
Thank you very much, Zach.
Thanks. Great talking with you. Everybody be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and let us know what you think about Patricia's book. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.